couple of weeks ago, this was either during or right before the bye week, I mentioned that the Vikings don't sweat it. Your next two opponents after the Chicago game is the Aiden O'Connell-led Vegas Raiders and the Jake Browning-led Cincinnati Bengals. You'll be fine. Outside of the concept of any given Sunday, there's nothing to stress out about. You're going to win these games as long as you stay on your P's and Q's. However, I have to change my stance on the Cincinnati Bengals because these Bengals, led by Jake Browning, it's not any given Sunday. They're just a good football team. And I want to start on their defensive side of the ball. They have playmakers. Trey Hendrickson on the defensive line, Logan Wilson at linebacker, Chidobe Awuzie at corner. They have guys who can make plays. They just don't have enough guys. Their defense is not great, second worst in the league, 27th versus the pass, and that's enticing if you are to have your starting quarterback, in this case, Kirk Cousins. That's exciting to say, okay, we're going to raise all holy hell against the Bengals, even on the road. However, with Nick Mullins, your QB2, your original QB2 to start the season anyway, I think it's wise to temper expectations. And it could not be any clearer of an example than their last two games, Cincinnati. They're averaging 34 points per game with Jake Browning at quarterback, but versus Jacksonville the week before, the Trevor Lawrence-led Jacksonville Jaguars put up 28 points on this Bengals defense. That's before he got hurt and C.J. Beathard came in. Ultimately, the Bengals won that game on the road in Duval County. Versus the Colts last Sunday, the Gardner Minshew-led Indianapolis Colts backup quarterback put up 14 points. Really, Minshew and the offense only put up 7. The reason why they got a second touchdown was because came off of a pick six in which Tanner Hudson, ball went to him and couldn't secure the catch, handed the ball off to, I think his name is Ronnie Wilson of Indianapolis. That turned into a pick six. So I think you have to, knowing that Nick Mullins and his limited skill sets combined with Kevin O'Connell and his conservative, risk-averse coaching, you have to temper expectations to say, okay, if you're going to win this game, it's going to be in the range. You're going to have to win this game scoring in the range of, I would say, 17 to 20 points. It's going to have to be on the defense to have a masterclass performance. Justin Jefferson, he says he's going to play, so that helps. The Bengals, the defense is not great. Take the opportunities that present itself to you if you're Nick Mullins when you're not going to make mistakes. And you should expect for Mullins to make mistakes. But on the other side of the coin, Zach Taylor and Jake Browning, they run, the Cincinnati Bengals, they run an aggressive, all-encompassing offense. They showed that on the road against the Jaguars. They showed that at home versus the Colts. It doesn't matter where they're they're going to run their style of football. Joe Mixon, you have to focus on him. They rely heavily on the run game. Chase Brown as well. They have a nice 1-2 punch at running back. Not just on the ground, but they like to run a heavy dose of running back screens. And right when you think that, okay, we need to focus on these guys, they have a trio of weapons in the passing game. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, they will throw bombs. Whether it's off the snap, okay, here's my guy, I'm going to throw it to him, or play action bootleg, rolling out, extending the play to buy himself, Jake Browning, more time to find open receivers. Fourth and short, they will absolutely go for it. And before we get into or further dive into what the defense needs to do, looking at the injury report as of Wednesday, Ed Ingram was a full participant, so that's great. Justin Jefferson, limited, but he says he's going to play. Madison, DNP, if he doesn't play, then all of us that have been clamoring for Ty Chandler to start, looks like we're going to get our wish. Although last week against the Vegas Raiders, before he got hurt, man, he looked really good. Jalen Naylor, DNP, Brian O'Neill, who knows if he's going to return this season. Hopefully he does. Dalton Reisner, he got hurt in that Raiders game as well. He was limited. The point here is that Brian O'Neill, he's not going to play on Saturday. There's a chance that Dalton Reisner doesn't play as well, which means that the Vikings, with their backup quarterback in Nick Mullins, may possibly be without 2 of their 5 starting offensive linemen, which puts even more pressure on the Vikings defense. Understand, if you're the Vikings defense, if you're Brian Flores, that the cornerbacks, there are going to be moments where you're going to be in hell. You're going to be in uncomfortable situations. One-on-one coverages with Higgins, Boyd, and Jamar Chase, because you're going to have to blitz this offense. Their offensive line, I don't know how they've been all season long, especially with Joe Burrow, but I know the last 2 games against Jacksonville, against Indianapolis, their offensive line has been fantastic. On the run game, they're opening up holes for their running backs. Jake Browning has nothing but time to work with. And then if he does play action bootleg, it's curtains. This man's just sitting back there chilling. You're going to have to blitz and rush the passer, which means that there's going to be one-on-one opportunities for these receivers. And he will throw the deep pass, Jake Browning. So if you're a Vikings cornerback, if you're a Caleb Evans, Mekhi Blackman, Byron Murphy Jr., you're going to be battle tested. Just stay in the fight. Even if you give up a big play, have next play amnesia and say, all right, you got me there. I'm going to get you next time. 4th and short, they're going to go for it. Goal possessions, they're not going to make any secret about it. They're going to smash the ball with Joe Mixon. If you're going to win this game, and this is, goodness, of your last 4 opponents, including this game. So this means Denver, Chicago, Vegas, and now the Cincinnati Bengals. These 4 games, this is going to be the biggest test that you will have. If you're going to win this game, the offense, they're not going to score many points just because of who we have at quarterback. So the defense, and if you can get a turnover for a score, even better. But it's going to be on Brian Flores to get it done if the Vikings are going to win this game. We'll see what happens.